Alright, hello everyone, welcome back to Chris Allen Recap number 24. Hopefully I didn't mess that up this time, because on the last one we messed it up. But it's currently about 3:20 a.m., which means in the morning. And I have nothing better to do, because the servers on Final Fantasy are getting maintenance. So, I was like, let me make the next Chris Allen Recap. As always, these will be very unstructured and very sloppy and probably very shitty. But that does not stop us from doing, because a lot of other things usually stop me, but that will not. So, you may be wondering, what is the topic for today's Chris Allen Recap? And usually I have the picture as a hint, but that was a red herring for this one. The picture's, well, it's kind of a hint, but it's not a hint that you're gonna have with getting to the topic. What do I mean by that? So, I'm just gonna give away the magician's secret here. The topic is basically how shitty things are. Now, usually that means for me, but this is one of the rare occasions where it's not for me, it's for all of us. So, this is coming with an asterisk, basically. It might not be totally accurate, it might just be a very bad, impression that's put onto us, but nevertheless, it's what I've been thinking about, and that's what this shit is about. So, it's about the world ending, basically, and just how bad things are for, I guess, my generation and the generations, near me, I guess, Gen Z, millennials, and it's just fucking horrible. So, as I peruse social media, very rarely that I do, but as I do peruse it, and I go on YouTube and everything, and I see news here and there, I see a lot of things going wrong, and these are things I've always had a fear of when I was little, right? Ironically enough, when I was little, I used to have these nightmares, and these nightmares were really morbid, but they were of humanity dying, and they were of humanity dying in, very weird, almost impossible ways, sometimes not even explainable. And this is kind of me going off on a tangent here, which is why I don't write scripts, because I'm just going to go off anyway, but some examples of this are in most of my dreams, and I'm talking about when I was around 5 years old. That's how scary this was. I used to have dreams of black holes sucking the space around the earth, and everyone in the dream, I'd be running with everyone else, I guess for no reason, but I didn't know that then, from the black hole, and you just look in the sky and you'd see the black hole sucking things in slowly, and it's getting closer to Earth, or I guess Earth is getting closer to it. But that was one example. Another example was we went to space, I think a nuke went off or something, and then we came back and all of humanity was dead. Me and the other people who, I guess, got on the spacecraft for some reason. I don't know why they let a 5-year-old kid there, but yeah, so as a kid, I used to have nightmares about this. I was like, damn, I really don't want the world to end. And as I grew up, I kind of realized, damn, if it's gonna end, it might be in my lifetime. And it's from different reasons. So, the main reason, and the biggest, thing that I've been seeing that might be the way the world ends, or just, a way to make it shittier, because there's no guarantee it's gonna end. But, and mind you, this is coming from the viewpoint of an American citizen in New York, but, it's water, right? I first started hearing about this in India and China, right? They're starting to fight over water, because apparently not enough places are getting water. Now, I'm not historically savvy enough to really know if this has been an issue before or how bad it is now, but again, hearing it from the media, it would make you think, oh, this is the worst it's been and it's terrible. But I'm gonna really hold off on trying to push that, because that's what's being pushed to us, but you never know if what the media says is true. So I'm just gonna say it how it is. So basically, excuse me, again, I don't know if this has happened before, if it's really that bad, but it sounds pretty bad that people and places are starting to fight over water. And with our population being as big as it is in the world, especially in places like India and China, they really need water. And if water is becoming a necessity, you best believe if there was ever a reason to fight a war, it's over water rights. And it's crazy to think that. And I was like, okay, that's happening overseas, what does it matter for us over here? And bruh, it's starting to happen here now. I forgot where it's happening. I think in the Midwest states, or the West Coast states. Definitely not on the East Coast yet, hopefully. Well, hopefully not. But Yeah, it's starting to happen in the United States now, and I'm getting concerned because it's not really a thing you can solve easily. Now, technology solves it, but that's a whole nother like issue with renewable resources and you know fossil fuels and everything like that, pollution, which is the next topic. Spoiler alert, but yeah, it's crazy to think like I tried to see like, okay, do we have a solution for the water problem? And I kind of thought like, oh, can't we just take seawater and filter out the salt? Which is what a lot of other people thought too. But the problem with that is there's a lot of salt left over, which has to go somewhere, and that ends up destroying the ecosystem that they dump it in, which is a whole slew of other problems with biodiversity. It's like, damn, one problem really just leads to another, and it's really scary. But without going too far anyway, again, the first big problem is water. We are fighting over water. Second, and these are in no particular order, by the way, it's just the way I'm thinking about them, the way I'm remembering them. Second problem, China and Russia are becoming a superpower. And this is kind of related in like a 2.5 problem. And again, I don't even know if it's the problem because I don't keep up with the news, but from what I've heard with the whisperings around, the Taliban, took Afghan. Everyone in the news hears about that now. Like, oh, Afghan fell like so quickly once the U.S. left. The U.S. left, and basically the enemies of the United States like took power. And again, this is unconfirmed as of now, but I heard they're beating U.S. people who are trying to get out at the airports. But the U.S. people are going, and the Taliban are just beating them, which is not good. But yeah. So we basically have an enemy that's coming to power, and they're recognized, I believe, by China and Russia as a power. So China and Russia aren't recognizing the Afghan state, they're recognizing the Taliban state, which, says death to America, and like I just said, is beating American citizens. So, it's not good having these superpowers endorsing what seems to be our enemy. But regardless, China, I think if anyone's gonna surpass us, it has to be between Russia and China, and I gotta say, it looks like China's winning. China, because of Xi Jinping, and God, it feels so scary to say that name. I feel like I'm gonna get like sniped by the Chinese government or something. But Xi Jinping having a communist party over there basically has a lot of control over things, and they are advancing very fast. Like, and they're like a center of trade and everything. Like, the US used to be like the big superpower by a whole margin in the whole world. Now, China's very readily catching up, if not equal to us. And I fear as if they're going to surpass us. Now, if that's good or not, that depends on your point of view. Whether you like communism or not, whether you think it's good. But me personally, and again, this might be biased, but it doesn't look like something I'd vibe with if they won and attacked us and then, we lost. So, third issue, not dwelling on those for too long. Third issue is I guess North Korea. It's always an issue. Fourth issue is coronavirus. I feel like it's never gonna go away. I don't feel like it's a big problem, but you never know. Maybe it could mutate and start actually affecting the population more than 1%. But who knows? We have to take the third booster shot soon anyway. So coronavirus is a new issue. What else? I was trying to think. There was one more. I guess just like the resource shortage of like silicon chips, but that's mainly because of the factories. But yeah, just resources in general, I feel like are the big thing, right? Oh, actually, this relates to another video I just saw. We're going into the age where AI is getting so smart that we actually, again, in my lifetime, if I don't off myself soon, is gonna reach the technological singularity. And for those of you who don't know what that is, that's basically when AI becomes so good at self-learning that they become smarter than us. What happens after that? There's a lot of movies describing that. But it could go a lot of ways. Again, it's something we don't know. We're just assuming it might be bad. It could be good, but the technological singularity is coming about, and if it's something that could potentially end the world, it's on the list because I'm talking about it. So we have all these things that are being, well, not being told to us, but circulating around that I've seen. And it kind of makes you scared because it's like, damn, a lot of these things don't have easy solutions. Like, look at the water one. That's the scariest one in my opinion. Because if we run out of clean drinking water, places will go to shit quickly. Like, water is used in everyday life for almost everything. If we do not have water to even drink, which is the thing we need the most, well, I guess that's air, but after air, it's water. and food, and then emotional comfort and physical comfort and everything else. But it's water, basically. After air, it's water. Now, if we don't have water, things will go down. Like, I do not doubt water becomes an issue, we will go to war if there's water involved. The common meme is like the US will get involved to get oil. That shit's about to be water. But yeah, and just everything else. I mean, coronavirus eventually might pass, we don't know. China becoming a superpower as it is, I think that's unstoppable. Them surpassing us, I think, is only a matter of time if the US doesn't get into gear. Oh, another thing, the US fucking government and everything. I feel like society in the United States is like somewhat collapsing. And, you know, this is nothing new in history. If you look at history from like any place, governments have like risen and fallen, like they're a dime a dozen. So I think people expecting for the American US government to last forever, well, first of all, it's impossible. But to last, you know, to be like the last government, or the government that the United States is going to have for the rest of the humans' existence, is just foolish, I think. Because there's been many more governments that we've had in, you know, the history of the earth that have gone, that lasted for way longer. And I feel like, I mean, again, this is just inference mostly, but I feel like with the way things are in society, with how much unrest there is, racial unrest, social unrest, you know, poor versus rich, just how fucked society is getting in general, at least here in the United States, I feel. Especially with coronavirus, because, oh my god, I forgot this one too. I'll add this on. What are we up to, 6? I think we're up to 6. The sixth problem, the US economy is, I feel like, so fucked. And the wage gap, or not even the wage gap, the wealth gap is so crazy. Like, I mean, this is coming from a guy who's unemployed, who's, you know, kind of decently went off, but can't really make money to save his life. But, yeah, there's like a crazy wealth gap in like the United States, and I feel like it's just getting worse and worse and worse. Like, the cost of living, especially because of coronavirus, has made things so much harder. Like, I forgot what they said. I heard this around too. Again, I don't have sources because I'm lazy, but just trust me on this one. I heard a source that basically said like millennials, aka I think my age, or Gen Z. I don't know what the fuck I am, Gen Z or millennial. I think I'm Gen Z. But my generation basically is starting to get to the age where they're gonna like buy houses, and the housing market is the worst it's been. It's actually crazy. So it's really bad. The economy is basically really bad, and it looks like it's getting worse. I also heard another thing, that if we continued unemployment and all this other like stupid spending that the government's doing, not only are we trillions of dollars into debt, the government's gonna go bankrupt. I don't know what the fuck that means, but that sounds really bad. But circling back to all the way at the beginning of this video, talking about the picture, this is why I want to put the picture of the capybara, because again, I don't know if things are bad as, you know, everyone's making it seem, or in reality if it's actually that bad, because the bad really does shine out more than the good in a lot of times, especially in my own personal life. But you know, that doesn't mean there isn't good there. And to try not to make people feel sad, I didn't want to put a picture of the earth fucking exploding, which is what I was gonna do. Instead, I wanted to put a happy picture to not have this card be super depressing, and that is the capybara wearing a donut. I don't know if the donut's real, I don't know if it's fake, but I really liked it, and I just love the capybara, and it's a nice picture. But anyway, I hope this was comprehensible. I hope whoever's watching this enjoyed it, found it interesting. Hopefully, like, if I win the lottery, it's informative. But that's really stretching what I want this video to be. But anyway, I had nothing better to do, and it's like 3:30 a.m. So I'm gonna go back to grinding Fortnite for Prismatic Rick, and I'm gonna get out of here. I hope you guys enjoyed. Later.